Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to thank the gentleman from Allegheny County on his compliment, but flattery will not help you today. But I'm certainly looking forward to working with you. I'll start off by saying that, and something I've said many times on this floor over the last 4 years, it's the same thing that Governor Wolf said today to us. If you don't like my budget, show me yours. Now, Chairman Markozik knows that for the last 4 years, I said, if you don't like our budget, show me yours. So that, Governor Wolf, I applaud you, because I've always thought in order to get things done here in Harrisburg, we should be working together, not being a party of no, because it's not our job to be a yes on a budget. Some of the complaints that I've heard today may have been differently if we had cooperation. I look forward to cooperation. But let's start off with the facts. Let's start off with the facts. This budget spends $33.8 billion, a record level of state spending. Governor Wolf proposes tax increase, a menu of tax increases that total $4.7 billion. I've heard about budget gimmicks. I've heard about transparency. I stood in front of you last year and I said, we're taking money out of various state agencies' reserves. I didn't get one phone call from one constituent complaining about that adjustment. Why should money be sitting in reserves that's not going to be used? However, this governor starts off by not including in the general fund almost $2 billion of public school employee retirement funds. Move it out of the general budget. Moves it out of the general budget and puts it in a restrictive account. Transparency. That's part of that $33 billion. Also, the $2.1 in property tax relief. I can't agree more with Majority Leader Dave Reed regarding the dollar for dollar. I like to know what zip codes are going to get that money as well, because I know what zip codes are going to be paying that increase in state income tax. I happen to live in one. 19064. 19064 pays plenty of state income tax. I heard all during the governor's speech that he's a businessman. Well, so am I, a small businessman. When I leave here, I go and I prepare tax returns for my friends and my neighbors. And I know what 3.07% means rather than 3.7% means. A 21% increase. Just because the numbers are the same doesn't mean people are not going to spend more. 6.6% sales tax as opposed to 6% sales tax. Doesn't sound like much. Well, when you start including an additional 300 more products and services, all of a sudden, everything that you do during the day is now taxed at 6.6%. Start with the morning paper. That's what I do. That's going to be now subject to a 6.6% sales tax. As I sit outside in the lobby, when I go get my hair cut, and I get less haircuts nowadays, however, it's going to cost 6.6% more. When you go see your attorney to do a will, when you go talk to an architect, a building designer, all now subject to 6.6% sales tax. I know no one in this house smokes, but now your cigarettes are going to cost $1 more a pack. You add all this up. The average median income in Pennsylvania is $52,000. I played around with some figures last night, and $52,000, based upon these simple proposals, same numbers, but different percentages, that average person will probably pay more than $1,000 a year in Pennsylvania taxes. State income tax, sales tax, they smoke, maybe a cigarette tax. So this is not a decrease on the middle class. I need to find out what the proposal is, and when the money comes to Harrisburg for property tax relief, who's getting the property tax relief? I would be very surprised if 30% of our senior citizens will have their school property taxes eliminated next year under this proposal. But we're going to find that out during this budget process. Let's talk a little bit about what was left out of this budget. And I know I have good friends on the other side of the aisle. And they know I've stood at this very podium over the years and criticized Governor Corbett, Governor Rendell, on why in the world would you eliminate funding for epilepsy? Why would you eliminate funding for the burn centers throughout the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania? In the rural areas, why in the world would a governor eliminate critical access centers? The funding for that, zeroed out. A decrease in sickle cell anemia. Why? Why? You're increasing taxes by close to $5 billion. Why do you have to eliminate funding for all those programs that we all have neighbors and family want? ALS. I look at the majority whip, who was the champion of that issue. Why would you eliminate that funding? Transparency? I don't think so. I don't think so. So I'm going to go through this budget line by line. I'm looking forward to working with Chairman Markozik and the rest of the members of the Appropriations Committee. But we're going to put together another balanced budget on time, because we're going to present a budget, okay? And I understand there were shortfalls. I've told my caucus that. There were shortfalls in last year's budget, and we need to fix it. And we will fix it. But I want to go home and I want to ask my constituents, are you ready to pay these type of increases? Because I do know a $1,000 decrease in school property taxes is not going to eliminate school property taxes in my area. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I average about 12% of our school budgets from the state of Pennsylvania. And in my area, we pay about 35% of the state revenue. So I want you to think about that. We're not rolling over. And we're going to negotiate a good budget, one where all the taxpayers of Pennsylvania are going to be represented, and all the businesses are going to be represented. Because let me tell you something about the corporate net income tax decrease. And I don't know what large companies you may have in your district. But when you use combined reporting, some of your largest employers in this Commonwealth will see a tax increase. Now, if that's okay, just ask your neighbors who works there. So let's be transparent. It's a lower decrease on some small Pennsylvania-based businesses. But some of our largest companies here that employ our friends and neighbors and family members also work for those national companies. So let's just put it all on the table. Put it all on the table. Transparency. Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to working with each and every one of you.